Listen closely, because the global chessboard just flipped, and the pieces are crashing down in real time. The world watched the escalating tensions in the Middle East, wondering who would blink first. But what just happened changes everything previously understood about military power in the region. Former CIA director and four-star General David Petraeus just dropped a massive reality check on national television, exposing a fatal miscalculation by Iran that the public completely missed. He laid bare the brutal truth. Iran's military just made the biggest strategic mistake in its modern history, and the consequences are tearing through their defenses. This is not just another political opinion. This is a battle-hardened military mastermind explaining exactly how Iran walked right into a trap of its own making. Petraeus revealed that by pushing their limits and provoking direct military strikes, Iran did not just lose a few weapons. They exposed the absolute core of their military weakness. They thought they were projecting undeniable strength, but instead they handed their adversaries the exact map needed to dismantle their most prized security forces and missile programs. The damage is a total strategic defeat. Their capabilities have been dramatically degraded, and their greatest vulnerabilities are now naked for the whole world to see. Before diving into the exact details of what General Petraeus exposed, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is dedicated to delivering the most critical breaking global news. Subscribing ensures viewers never miss the truth when the world shifts. Now, getting straight into the facts. What exactly is this massive mistake? According to Petraeus, the Iranian military severely misjudged the retaliation they would face. They assumed their underground bunkers and proxy armies made them untouchable. They believed they could keep the United States and allied forces entirely off balance. But General Petraeus explained that this strategy backfired in the worst possible way. By overplaying their hand, they triggered a devastating response that penetrated their deepest intelligence networks and wiped out critical components needed to project power. Let's break down exactly what happened. For years, Iran built a massive reputation around its underground missile silos and heavily fortified bases. They sold a story to the world, and to their own people, that their skies were totally locked down, and their most valuable military assets were untouchable. General Petraeus completely shattered that illusion. He pointed out that Iran's ultimate blunder was believing its own hype when it decided to launch a direct attack, stepping out from behind the shadow of proxy groups. They thought they were showing absolute dominance. Instead, they handed over a golden excuse for a direct, overwhelming counterstrike. Petraeus revealed that allied intelligence agencies had already spent years silently mapping every blind spot in Iran's air defense network. They knew exactly where the radars were looking, and more importantly, where they were completely blind. By crossing the red line and forcing a direct conflict, Iran gave the green light for those guarded secrets to be turned into targets. In a matter of hours, their prized radar systems were blinded and destroyed. Petraeus noted that the speed and precision of the response proved something terrifying for the Iranian leadership. Their most secure facilities were compromised from the inside out. If you are just realizing how massive this shift in global power truly is, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now. We break down these military realities without complicated political spin, and you do not want to miss how this story unfolds. Think about the sheer panic this causes for a military command. General Petraeus explained that it is one thing to lose a few weapons in battle. It is an entirely different nightmare to realize your enemy can fly straight through your most heavily defended airspace without you even seeing them coming. Iran's leadership woke up to the brutal reality that the billions of dollars spent on defense were rendered useless. They thought they had a shield of steel, but Petraeus made it clear they were hiding behind a wall of paper. This was not just a tactical loss. This was a complete collapse of their survival strategy. They practically invited the world to see that their military armor is entirely broken. And the shock waves of this massive mistake do not stop at Iran's borders. They are vibrating across the entire Middle East right now. General Petraeus made a powerful point that completely changes how everyone views the proxy groups Iran controls. For decades, militias operating in neighboring countries fought with a huge safety net. They believed no matter what they did, Tehran had their backs. They believed Iran was an untouchable fortress. But Petraeus exposed the brutal new reality. That fortress has no roof. If Iran cannot protect its own capital, if it cannot even keep its most prized radar stations safe, how can it protect anyone else? This single military mistake fractured trust within their own alliance network. The shield is broken. Fighters who thought they were part of an invincible force are waking up to the fact that they are entirely on their own. And that changes everything. Iran painted itself into an impossible corner. A military survives on the threat of what it can do. The moment that threat is exposed as a bluff, the power evaporates. Iran spent years demanding fear and respect, using its missile stockpile as a dark shadow over the region. But by stepping into the light and firing directly at a prepared enemy, they gave away their greatest weapon, the fear of the unknown. Now the world knows exactly what Iran is capable of, and more devastatingly, what it is incapable of. In military strategy, losing the mystery is often the fastest way to lose the war. Their aura of invincibility has been permanently shattered, leaving them weaker than they have been in decades. And behind closed doors, the financial disaster is just as severe. Modern weapon systems, advanced radars, underground bunkers, these cost billions to build and maintain. Iran strained its economy for years to fund this military machine. And in a blink, one decision wiped out enormous investments. Replacing these systems will take years. Secret deals, massive funding, and engineering resources that are now limited. The economy is struggling. The world is watching. The money is gone. The weapons are gone. And the leadership is left standing exposed. Internally, the panic may be even worse. When generals look up at empty skies and blind radars, confidence collapses. When commanders suspect intelligence leaks inside their own ranks, trust evaporates. Petraeus highlighted the most chilling possibility. This was not just a technological failure. It was an intelligence catastrophe. The precision of the strikes suggests deep compromise. Communications may be monitored, movements tracked, plans exposed. Paranoia becomes paralyzing. A military that cannot trust itself cannot function. Planning becomes impossible. Action becomes dangerous. Every move feels like stepping into another trap. And the fallout does not stop in the region. Major global players who once supported Iran are now recalculating. No one wants to be tied to a vulnerable ally. Why send advanced systems to a country that cannot secure its own radar network? Isolation becomes the next phase of weakness. Without allies, supply chains shrink. Replacement parts vanish. Technology imports dry up. Meanwhile, adversaries now understand the vulnerabilities in detail. The balance of power flips. Iran thought it was setting a trap. Instead, it locked itself inside a cage. And that leads to the ultimate conclusion Petraeus laid out. Iran is standing at the edge of a cliff. For decades, they relied on proxy warfare and the threat of an untouchable homeland. By exposing their own weaknesses, they shattered that strategy. The mystery is gone. The myth is gone. The era of dictating terms from underground bunkers is over. They stepped into the open, and the world showed them how vulnerable they truly are. History may look back at this as the turning point. Iran's biggest mistake was believing its own myth of invincibility. They sacrificed economic strength, fractured alliances, and shook internal loyalty, all for a reckless show of force that backfired. The illusion is dead. The defenses are broken. And the entire world is now watching what a cornered military command does next. The balance of power has shifted.